Her background is
But-
nerd.
Darren should have gone to school here instead of Cutter, because you are a devil. I can tell you that right now. A minute.
She
early.
rolls in like she's a Hollywood movie star now. She just here, hey, she's just here for the camera.
I guess I tooted.
No hard-hitting questions here.
Yeah,
Shall
but-
we talk about my one sentence resignation?
Well, welcome to the next edition of Spilling the Tea in Studio D. Again, it's the roadshow version. So
Home of the Leopards.
yeah, home of the leopards
whoop.
again.
Yeah.
People probably get tired of hearing this on the old podcast, but this is where I did my student teaching 30, well, not 30 years, 29
and a
years
half.
ago. Well, I guess it would be kind of 30 because that we
That's
student
close.
taught the year before, right?
Yep.
So,
And I graduated from Malvern K-12.
and here's a little known fact. We student taught at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
well, I know she does, but you know why? Because I have to work with her. So working
No,
with
he started-
Candace Bennett
yeah.
will age you. It's like dog years. Like for every year you get to work with Candace, it's like 7. So,
That's all the gray. So, that's all.
yeah,
I have all the
absolutely,
gray.
absolutely. So it's our pleasure this afternoon to have Miss Whitney Ivy here at Malvern. We've been Malvern's probably our highest, most frequently visited school because y'all
they've-
got a lot going on.
Yeah,
That's
they've
what
been
it's-
sending
that's what it
lots of
says to
names.
me.
I love it.
So, and as how we do this, just a conversation. We'll dive right in, and I guess let's just kind of roll back in time, if you will, with you, and talk about maybe where you grew up, went to school, and what led you toward education as a career path
Okay, well, I went to school in Delight my whole life.
or Delight.
Well, Delight if you're not from there.
Okay.
Delight if you are.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
So
Cleared that right up.
Yes,
That's right.
home of the Bulldogs. And I always tell people that I got a private school education at a rural public school. I
Gotcha.
graduated in
Right.
a class of 19 people, and
All right.
all of my friends are teachers. We all graduated together, and we all teach.
Oh, pretty
So
cool.
we had I became a teacher because my English teacher that I had at Delight was fantastic, Cindy Mormon.
Right.
And so I majored in English at Henderson and got my BA with certification. And funny fact, I have an extra year in teacher retirement.
Oh,
Because
wow.
my parents wouldn't pay for my wedding until I graduated, so I pushed through in 3 years.
I like that.
Hey,
And now
there
I'm
you
divorced,
go.
so hey.
Yeah, well,
Well,
good investment,
I mean,
bad investment.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Well, you gotta
they
look-
paid for it at least.
This
I
is what I'm
mean,
going to say. Look toward the future because you're going to get it back at retirement.
This
Yeah.
is true. This is
So,
true. So I had a full ride to Henderson and got paid to go to college. And then I taught at Prescott for
Okay.
2 years and loved it. That's where my mom was a curly wolf, so I had a lot of
Right.
family there. And then I thought, I don't know that I want to stay in the classroom forever.
Right.
So I went and got my master's in library media.
okay.
And I went another Delight connection. Funny story. I was at a Rolling Stones concert, and I heard Whit from across the lobby, and it was my agri teacher from Delight,
Yeah.
and I'd babysat his kids. And he was like, "What are you doing now?" And I was like, "Well, I just started library school." And he was like, "I need a librarian." So he took the application. That was a Thursday night. And he took the application to my mama at the bank in Delight on Friday.
Right.
I filled it out over the weekend, and I got hired Monday night at the board meeting.
Oh, wow.
So I was there for 8 years.
Right place, right time.
Yes, and who you know.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And so I was there for 8 years and loved it. But then I had all 3 of my kids while I was at Blevins, and we lived in Antoine. And my ex-husband was from Arkadelphia, and our
Gotcha.
kids did all their sports in Arkadelphia. So
Okay.
I got a job at Arkadelphia. and
Right.
Taught there for 3 years. Not sure how we feel about the Badgers over here in Leopard Country.
Right.
Yeah. Have to
Um,
watch what you say.
yeah.
now. Yeah.
And then, but it was a good time, and I loved teaching. I taught English there, and I was the cheer coach, and I worked with Mr. Patterson and Miss Slavens, and
Okay.
so I really loved them. And then I went to Bismarck for 6 years and taught English and did their yearbook, and I was looking for a change and on school spring and saw Malvern and sent Miss Schneickel an email and she called and we talked about being Girl Scouts, and I came and interviewed and with her and Mr. Holloman and Mr. Bullhouse, and I fell in love with the school, and it has been the best change. And my kids, I actually have my own son in my class now, and he's a freshman here at the high school, and
It's like, don't call me out.
we are very thrilled to be Leopards. And my daughter's a 5th grader at Wilson, and she's actually speaking at the school board meeting tonight. She's going
Wow.
to talk about the Beta Leadership Summit. And
Okay.
Cool.
we love it here.
You
So,
know,
so how long have you been here at Malvern?
This is my 2nd year.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Bullhose and I taught together.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
I do
like
love
that.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a mess. So you haven't commented on her attire yet with her.
Yeah. Well,
No.
I don't get personal like you do. You get all caught up in looks and stuff. You know, what I see
no.
before me is an excellent educator. I don't know what you're getting.
It's
I
rough.
Hey.
It's rough around here.
Oh
Well,
my
I
gosh!
am
I
fresh-
apologize on her behalf.
I am freshman class sponsor, and
Okay.
today is athlete versus mathlete day.
That's
I
awesome.
gotcha.
That's
And
awesome.
I might have given a little tick mark for the
Right.
freshmen based on
Right.
my attire this morning.
Right.
You know,
I got
We
it.
like to win.
I taught here 3 years, and we had so much fun. We would decorate the halls. I don't know if you guys still do that.
They
but-
do a sheet. They're
Oh,
doing
they
it.
do.
So our
Okay.
sheet. 2 of my kids are normal. They've been going to do the sheet, but I told them they had to come in here to watch this podcast.
Oh, it was a
Okay.
big deal. Like, it was a
Oh.
weekend. We were up here decorating the halls. I was sophomore class sponsor, and it was.
Here we go, Michael. It's all about Candace. And, oh Lord.
Okay, let's just rewind
Yeah.
the podcast
Hey,
and let's
hey.
just.
Oh, stop.
Mathlete. Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
mathlete.
Well, we
Yeah.
are super.
I did teach math.
We are super competitive, and Henry is the vice president of the freshman class, and Brad,
Right.
that's over there, is the president, and
Right.
they are both captains on the football team, and
so
they
th-
convinced all
are-
the 9th grade football boys to be in a dance.
Oh.
Oh.
So next Wednesday at 11:30, if y'all
Yeah.
aren't doing anything,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
they're about to win.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
better be practicing.
are the
guys.
freshmen representing the athlete side of things? That's it, right? Okay, good. All
Okay.
right. That's my people.
Uh-huh.
Mathlete, not so much. So nothing
Mathletes
against
are
you.
cool. Don't even.
English is better.
That may
Yeah,
have been the biggest
English is much
oxymoron
needed.
I've ever heard in my life. Mathlete and cool. That's like
Yeah,
jumbo
for sure.
shrimp. No,
Sure, for
it's
sure.
not non-existent. Okay. So I digress. But again,
Yes.
actually, when I did my student teaching here, you know how you have your high school and your junior high time. I got to spend my entire internship at the high school because I have a radio television degree. And back then it was called Prism, but it was Judy Bonds was working with the broadcasting and the Prism and all that stuff. So I got to spend my entire time at the high school. It was really cool. I didn't have to go down. So
That explains why the kids' email addresses are Prism East.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
you go.
I didn't
Yeah.
understand
That's
the
it.
Prism
Yeah.
part. Now I
Now-
do.
Yeah, way
that's
back
it.
in
It
the
was
day.
Prism.
and I can't remember what the acronym stood for, but
I can't either, but Miss Bond,
Yeah.
she was my English teacher.
Right. Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
awesome.
And great experience for me, no doubt. So, matter of fact, it spurred me on to my first teaching job at Jessville to start a broadcasting department there. One of the first, I think, kind of in this part of the state, anyhow. After this one, but yeah, it's pretty cool how just like you told your story, everything's kind of interwoven, and you know, that's what I love about this profession. It's I mean, relationships are very important in everything that you do, but more so with this profession. I think, you know, I ran into Scooter Register over the weekend, who's like a coaching legend in these parts, and I had met him before, but you know, but he got to that point at the end. He said, you know, it's all about the relationship. So
Speaking
it's
of
great.
Bullhose.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
He told me today that he was y'all's very first interview.
he was.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I suckered him
Yeah.
into it, you
Yeah,
know.
he did a great job,
They both
too,
did
so,
great. They were
yeah.
wonderful.
So as far as getting pulled into the profession, I mean, was that something you always wanted to do? Or
I wanted to actually be a professor at college, and but you know that ex-husband, his grandmother died. We got married in March. I graduated in May, got my first teaching job, and his grandmother died in November of that year, and he inherited a cattle farm.
wow.
And so there was no way to move. So that's when I was like, oh, what am I going to do? So I went and got the library
Right.
media degree. But then I've been back in the classroom since 2014.
Right.
So, and I'm going to retire from here.
Yeah.
Unless they run me off. But I don't think
So as far as your actual teaching, what you're teaching now, it's
Last year I split time between the middle school and here.
Gotcha.
And I did facilitated the East program on both campuses, and then produced both yearbooks. This year, I have I have 3 classes of community service learning for students who aren't involved in activities to get those 75 hours to graduate, and then I oversee all the freshmen and sophomores, making sure that they have documentation for their hours. And then I have 3 classes of journalism, one an intro class, this class, which is the graphics class, and they're responsible for anything you see on the video board. And they're producing commercials for the YouTube broadcast of games on Friday nights, and they've done some radio commercials. We're having a lot of fun with that class. And then I have the yearbook class, and then actually 4 of these kids have me twice a day. They like me so much.
Yeah. So, today's yearbook is going to be totally different from the old page turning thing. So what's that kind of like? I mean, I know you put it together, but it's got to be, I mean, is it harder, easier, or
I was yearbook editor in high school, and it is much, much easier. The kid, as long as they can, and they're so much better at the computer program, and I just let them do it. I oversee finances, and I copy edit.
Gotcha.
And that's really all I do. They know how to do all of the things. This year, last year our theme was Orange is the New Black, and every headline was like, blank is the new blank. So band is the new competition. Friday nights are the new Thursday nights are the new Friday nights.
Gotcha.
This year they chose behind the scenes.
Okay.
And so everything has like that movie, like they chose their who's. I'm actually typing up the who's who ballots for the kids to vote on, so we can announce the winners at the senior night pep rally. And the topics are like star of the show, which is like class favorite, and best director, leadership skills, and future stunt coordinator, right? So everything's going to that
That's cool.
movie theme.
Yeah, so I wonder what that term would equate to math nerd when you went through.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But what about
Peak
AI?
grip, maybe. Something like
I'm
that.
ignoring you.
Well,
Be nice.
AI is huge.
Yeah,
like
there's
there's so much ethical things in that. And like my oldest son is a junior at the math and science school, and I know they're more dealing with it. When I still taught English, I didn't allow them to write anything outside of my site, and I was mean, and I didn't let them type it.
Yeah.
They had to handwrite, so I knew they weren't plagiarizing.
Yeah.
I was a really mean English teacher.
Well, it's incredible.
Just
Like the AI piece is just like, we had a piece of software last week we were looking at, but we were going to do like a commercial basically for one of our areas. Just cut and paste script, dropped it over, and we had a couple different actors to choose from, and then it's almost scary.
It is
my
kinda
problem
scary.
with AI though is it's so generic, and what I look for as a writing teacher, or even with this stuff with scripting, is you want to hear people's voice. I don't want to hear an AI computer voice because it all sounds so generic.
Yeah.
So I think AI, I mean, it definitely has its place, but it is never going to take the place of creativity.
Oh,
and human
no.
brain.
It's not.
It never will.
Lazy, it helps lazy people out.
Yeah. Well, the good thing
They're all like-
about the broadcasting piece, though, like I say, I radio television is my bachelor's degree, but I try to tell folks all the time the skills that I learned going through that have been just invaluable to me. Progressing through education as a coach, a teacher, administrator, now director of the co-op, and once in a while I get thrown a bone. Like over the weekend, I got to announce the Razorback thing at Summit Arena when the basketball team came in. And so those kinds of things are cool. So my story there is, it doesn't matter what you choose, build on it, right?
Right.
So, yeah. So if you weren't teaching, what do you think you'd be doing?
Now, honestly, I think I would have been an accountant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know about
My
that
sister is she's a CPA.
Yeah, my
I couldn't do
brother
that.
owns his own firm. And,
Yeah.
Again.
Numbers don't lie.
That is crazy.
they
that
don't.
We both
That's
have
right.
a sibling that's CPA, so I didn't even think
Yeah,
about
and
that.
you're a math nerd and I'm not. That is
I know.
so crazy.
See, she and I both we're both
Yeah.
math.
Well, true
you know.
story. I was an English major, and I went in to tell my college professor, or my advisor. I was like, I'm going to take college algebra this semester, and I had researched, like I knew, like I wanted the easy one, and I'd heard all the athletes took Dr. Jackson. Like
Right.
I had worked
Yeah.
it, so I was like, I want you to put me in Dr. Jackson's algebra class, and he was like, no, you should take math for the liberal arts. And I was like, Dr. Beggs, I'm not writing another paper.
Right.
No, put me in college algebra. Now, did I have to
Yeah.
go to tutoring every day? And did
Yeah.
I cry when I made a C on the
Yeah.
first test? Yes, but I ended up with an A in the class.
There you go.
So,
See,
There you
girl, that's for celebration. College algebra for me. I was celebrating.
well, I went and
because-
cried to him, and he was like, Whitney, you made the highest grade in the class. And I perked up a little bit, and I was like, but it's still a C.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Both of y'all chose way different
Self-motivated.
paths in college than I did. So it was radio, television. I have to have what?
Yeah.
So
I was such a nerd. I took chemistry at 8 o'clock in the morning because all my friends took astronomy. And I was like, no, I really liked balancing equations. So I took college
8 o'clock.
chemistry
I
at
didn't-
8 o'clock with Miss Roberts. Do you remember her at Henderson?
I did not
That's
have.
brutal.
She
chemi-
was
I just
a
took physics.
tiny, tiny lady. And she came in with so much energy every morning. And we were like, what do you eat for breakfast? And she was like, well, you see, I start with 1 spoon of Eagle brand milk. And before I know it, I have eaten the whole can.
ugh.
She was like this big. I look at a can of Eagle brand milk.
Well,
and
maybe-
Eagle brand milk in
maybe
something.
she
is
got
good.
it in and then
Yeah.
just worked it off.
I
Yeah,
guess,
okay.
man, she
Yeah.
was like the Energizer Bunny.
That's
So
awesome.
let's talk a little bit about kids growing up. What year did you graduate high school?
I graduated in 01.
So do you know Darnisa Fields? She was a delight
I
person.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nisi, she had Turner.
Turner.
start
Turner,
with.
yeah,
Yes,
Turner.
I know
Yeah,
everybody's
I'm sorry.
maiden name.
I
Yeah,
started
I
saying
forgot.
Turner. Yeah, I forgot. I always,
Yeah.
I when she got married, I called her Turner forever.
She
I
was
did
a lot
too.
younger than me, though. But I do remember
yeah,
her.
Yeah,
so
she's
sweet.
she's top drawer for sure.
What does she do?
She is actually she was our admin assistant, but now we've kind of elevated her. We're fast tracking her in our finance department.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and hopefully one day going to replace her with Candace. Candace was out for a couple 3 days last week, and
They didn't miss me.
Nisi plugged in her office. She needed some space, and I said, "Man, that looks a ton better than what I'm used
I'm
to
getting
seeing."
text
So,
messages saying you've
yeah.
been replaced.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So-
okay.
I told her not even to come back, but I
Two
didn't.
of my classmates are your employees.
Who's the other one?
Sarah McKinnon Johnson is one of your virtual Arkansas
Okay.
Spanish.
Yep,
She and
yep.
I graduated
Okay,
together. And then
gotcha.
Melissa Thomason, she was
Yep.
a Finney, and
Yeah.
she does the special ed pre-K.
Yep, gotcha.
Oh, that's
okay.
So when
Wow.
I mean
Yeah.
it, we're all teachers.
Everybody's
yeah.
teachers.
Yeah, nothing
That's-
wrong with that.
Hey,
So
we
how
need
many
a-
folks
we
were
need
in
a
your
lot of
graduating
teachers.
class?
I had 19, and one of those was an exchange student from Japan.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, I thought mine was Smalley Cutter at 40, but no. Eh,
We had a lot. We had
Yeah.
close to 200 here, probably.
right.
Henry's class, or the ninth graders here, they have 153 in their class
Wow.
right now.
That's,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good size. Yeah. So, but back to my original question with kids. I mean, do you think they're different today, or different challenges, or
I don't think the
You know.
kids are different. I think kids are kids. I
Right.
think the parents are different.
yeah? I think
Yeah,
so.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a better teacher because, no, let me rephrase. I'm a better parent because I was a teacher first.
That makes sense.
And I think what parents sometimes forget is while my children are absolutely beyond precious to me and
Right.
special to me,
Right.
to their teachers, they're just one kid in a classroom of very special people. They're
Right,
all
exactly.
special.
Right.
Not any
Yeah.
more special than anyone else.
That's right.
And so I think it's nice when parents can remember that we're trying to
Right.
do the best for
Oh, yeah.
everyone.
Right.
sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I go back, and my coaching reference would be Bobby Bowden, where he said, it was time for him to retire. Not that he didn't understand it, he just couldn't relate with them like he used to. And he said, that's fair. He said, because we all go through that circle of life, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And but he said, I don't love them any less. And he said, their needs aren't any less or greater than. He said, back to your point, kids are kids.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, so time for him to.
I will say that, like, when I started teaching, there were helicopter parents that
Mm-hmm.
hovered. I now encounter lawnmower parents who want to
Well.
push all the obstacles out of
Yeah.
the way for their
Well,
children.
yeah, that's kind of a bulldozer.
Yes,
if
and I
it's one
think
of the
that's
newer
very
terms.
harmful because
Yeah.
you learn the best through failure. And this program is an example of that. Like, we
Yeah.
started out, we thought we knew what we were doing. We just got replay to work correctly Friday night, and we're almost through this season.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you learn through failure. Okay, we
That's
tried
right.
this, that didn't work. Now what
Yeah.
do we do?
Well,
Yeah.
we were at Fountain Lake together. We call that failing forward.
Yep.
Because, I mean, if you're not failing, you're not trying,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I heard it fail at first attempt in learning. I mean,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
You do have to.
And the other part of that, I think it's a tough part. It's tough sometimes for people to go from what if to what the heck. I mean, they're so wanting somebody to blaze the trail maybe like you're saying, thinking they may get all the mistakes out of the way, but it doesn't matter how blazed the trail is. There's still going to be potholes along that road. So, it's one of those things. I think it's a good life lesson, but this is the kind of program I think that really helps you flesh that out.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So, going forward, you're saying this is where you want to be. Do you have any desire to get beyond what you're doing here, or?
No, I have. When my daughter graduates from high school, I can retire with my 28. I might T-drop since I like it so much here.
Yeah.
But I'm probably gonna bug out
Yeah.
and retire.
Well, I keep telling people now that we're T-dropping.
Yeah, you're one to T-drop.
Kind of like Bruno
Still
Mars.
crazy.
I mean, I'm a dangerous man with some T-dropping. Because a lot of the things that, you were a little less concerned about that, didn't want to talk about, and now we do. It doesn't matter.
I always said, I may when I retire, I may just be that person on social media. And so when there's negative stuff thrown out, I'm just going to get in there, throw in some positive and try to, when you can't normally comment.
I'm a huge Disney fanatic, and the dream is I have a former student that I taught at Prescott who lives in Florida, and she was like, come live with me. And I was like, okay, I can get there and get set up. Lucy can be a Disney princess because she's super cute. And my dream job is to work in the old-time Christmas shop in Magic Kingdom. Because Christmas and Mickey Mouse all year long, what is better?
I mean,
nobody hates on either one of those.
Happy all the time.
And when I'm off, I go ride the rides for free. They even have housing for employees. Like I'll draw my teacher retirement and work at Disney, and I think that sounds great.
That's honestly probably
awesome.
not a
She'd
like
probably
a
run
good
into
plan.
Steve Campbell.
He might. Yeah, he loves
at
it.
Fountain
Loves
Lake. That's
Disney.
been his dream job forever. So, what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten? Doesn't have to necessarily do with education or.
My brother and I were talking about this the other day. My dad passed away in 2012, and my mom had surgery a couple months ago, and we were sitting there and we were talking about like best piece of Vincent Hendricks advice you got, and he said his, and then I was like, well, you know what mine was? It's, walk into the place like you own it. Any time that I was afraid to do anything and I appeared a little scared, like one time I had to go, I had won the spelling bee and I had to go get my savings bond from the bank, and I didn't want to go in and talk to the ladies at the bank, and he made me go in by myself, and of course I had to memorize my social security number on the way because I didn't know it. And I was like, I don't want to go in there. And he's like, just walk in there like you own the place. And it really has been the best advice because I'm not scared to talk to anybody. I'll go up and ask anybody anything. We were at a concert Saturday night in Arkadelphia, and my friend was like, he was just on stage. And I was like, well, come on, let's go over there and take a picture. And she's like, no. And I was like, oh, yeah, come on. I mean, and he ended up taking the picture. So, like, I can talk to anybody.
Who was it? Who was it, by the way?
The guy that was on The Voice, Mac Rule.
Oh, yeah. I heard
And
that
then
was a good show.
It was fun. And then we watched Midnight South, and then I Love Country. And so Red Farron was really, really good.
What's that one song that he has? I was trying to remember
So
today.
Just Like Johnny, and
That's
then
the
Jack
one.
and Diet Coke,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
there's a remix of
Just Like
Jack and
Johnny.
Diet Coke with Wiz Khalifa.
Oh, wow.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know I had the remix.
Yeah. But you talk about confidence. We had, I did a presentation for Arkadelphia, some bullying prevention. They asked to come over, and we were talking about just building kids' confidence. I think that's so important. If they're confident, they're not going to be listening to all the haters and people that are saying things. So I think that's really
Well, and as a
advice.
parent, I don't allow my children don't have social media.
Yeah.
And my son, when I told him they could get it when they turned 16, and my oldest, he turned 16 in January, and he was like, no, I've seen what trouble people get into, and he didn't want it. So my social media is just bad for kids.
I'll tell you what
It
true
really-
confidence is, though. I witnessed it on the way over here today. Was you know how the line of traffic goes from 2 lanes to 1 if you're going to keep coming toward the high school. Line of traffic going. This car pops out and just starts automatically parallel parking. There's no way I could do that.
No, me neither.
I mean, I tense up even when I think I can do it, but I'm talking about their cars going by, and they were just like, and just popped it right in there. So
No. I need the car. I saw a commercial, and it turns the wheels, and then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like crab walks.
Yeah, that's
I was like, I need
the
that.
Hummer. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
need
only
that.
like $150,000.
If only, but I
well
need
within
it.
your range
You're
of
okay.
purchase.
way out of my range of purchase.
So back to the advice piece. Maybe the worst piece you've ever gotten, or at least a situation where there was some bad advice involved.
Oh, I don't. That's so. You put me on the spot. You should have given me my questions ahead of time.
Well, see, we don't
He
believe
doesn't
in
ever
that.
do that.
Oh well.
Candace tried that on the very first time. She comes in like that nerd that she is. And
No,
says
just organized.
she had
Organization.
her little legal pad all happy, and I said, "What is that?" And she said, "These are the questions." And I said, "Nope," because the first question would be, "Let me see your questions," and I'd rip them up. So.
Yeah.
But it's been good for her. She's come, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the way
I
out of
guess
her
maybe
shell.
because I think
Sort
I'm
of.
so much. Like, I am 110% all the time. People that know me are like, oh my gosh, she's so much. Like, I'm so I can't whisper to save my dang life.
Right.
I'm loud. I'm enthusiastic. I'm an overachiever. And, there are sometimes people that are like, you need to tone it down.
Mm-hmm.
No, I need to find people who don't mind that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't
Right.
have to tone myself down.
That's right. Find
Be
your
you.
people.
Be
So
you.
yeah,
That's
so
right.
and I
Yeah.
think Malvern's great because like Miss Schnickel was written by the other she wasn't running, but she walks fast and she came by and she's like, I just love your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
recognized here and appreciated, and I
Absolutely.
think that's important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
very
Yeah,
important.
very important.
I don't think any of us should ever have to dull our shine.
I don't
That's
think
right.
so either. Where's Katie? She
Yeah. she
all,
said back here.
yeah. I can't believe you didn't give it a preach.
She did. She's back there. She
okay.
did. Yes.
All right. Yeah. So back in the day at Delight, right? And I don't want to offend you since you are from there. Call it Delight. So what was the jam back in the day at Delight?
Oh gosh. Well, of course we didn't have cheerleaders because our
Right.
coaches wouldn't allow you to play basketball and be a cheerleader. So we all played basketball.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I was president of student council. We put on the pep rallies.
Right.
We had the best. My class never lost the spirit stick from 7th through
Wow.
12th grade.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
we're small.
Competitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super competitive. Super
Right.
competitive. I don't know, the big thing to do, which is hysterical to me now because gas is so high, but we had the one little strip there in Delight. You would
Yeah.
go to the Church of Christ parking lot and go up to Easy Mart and cruise the strip. Of course, it was easy to do because gas was 77 cents a gallon. I could literally get change out of my console and fill
Yeah.
my car up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what we did after a ball game, or
So was it all country or was it like a little bit of everything?
I don't know, my class, I mean, it's a little bit of redneck. I
Yeah.
mean, it's Pike County, y'all. We
That's
have
right.
one red light in the whole county.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we do. When I was growing up, there
Right.
wasn't a single red light.
Right.
I don't know. We all got along, and
Yeah.
but we played places where we got booed
Yeah.
because we were mixed. We were
Right,
multicultural school,
Right.
so we dealt with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. My class was different. We all got along. So.
Yeah.
That's good.
Especially
We did
with like 19 people. You're going to be in everybody's business.
Well, and this was back in the day, before they changed it. Like, we could go buy like we would pool our money and share a can of Coke.
Yeah.
Because you could go still buy stuff and
Yeah.
we would buy the cookie dough in Miss Tollison's room
Yeah.
and eat it raw. Like, this was
Yeah.
before they got all hard on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
about all the
Salmonella and all that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
God forbid.
but we went on a lot of trips. Like,
Right.
I was in, I judged dairy foods for Mr. Lee, and we won state and went to nationals. And he was great. He FFA paid for all our stuff. And so I try to do that. Like, our journalism class has been invited actually to go to U of A and sit in on. Well, you may know Robin Starling Ledbetter. She's the director of the journalism program. And our class has been invited to come watch 2 of their live broadcasts.
Awesome.
So we're working, on that. And that's one of my goals, is to make sure the kids don't have to pay for anything when we go on educational trips.
Well, it's funny you say that because the guy that was actually running the show was very scripted on Saturday, which is something I'm not used to. But anyway, younger guy, but he's in sports management, but he's part of the, I guess what you would say, the advertising piece. But it was never really on the radar till he got to college and dipped his toe in the communications bureau, and he thought, hey, this is something that I'm interested in. And now, I mean, he's elevated at the University of Arkansas. I think he told me he's like 26 or 7, but he's like, I want to say 3rd in the chain or something like that. But again, he took a chance, kind of like your dad said. He walked in there like he's owned it a couple of times, and other people were, a little intimidated by maybe a piece of equipment or a particular job, jumped right on it, and it's just, grinding away. He's got up there pretty quick. So that's a good thing that you're going to take him up. Exposure's incredibly important, I think.
Well, we're working on it. And another thing I want to make sure I say before we run out of time, I'm so blessed to have the best co-teacher who is from Malvern, and so she tells me all the Malvern things when I don't know, and I'm like, what do
Right.
we do? What do we do? So Bridget Williams is my co-teacher, and
Gotcha.
she is fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
we
don't know what I
podcasted
would
with
do.
her too.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do without Bridget. So
Yeah.
I just want to make sure
It takes each other to get through this stuff for sure.
Yeah.
we keep each other calm. Like I'll call her like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing right now, and she's like,
Right.
Whitney, breathe. She calms me down.
Yeah.
That's
Well, if you could
awesome.
give a piece of advice to, let's keep it educational for a second. An aspiring teacher, what advice would you give them?
Grow a thick skin.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody is going to be happy with you all
Right.
the time. In
Right.
fact, seldom people are going to be happy
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
So you have to develop that thick skin, and I think you have to be in teaching for the right reason. One reason that I have not left is because I still genuinely love kids.
Yeah, it's a hard thing for sure.
Yeah.
And it's, I got offered over the summer we went, and one of my friend's husbands works at GP. He's vice president. And he was like, "Come, we got this new leadership development program. Come work for us." And I was like, I'm so close to retirement.
Yeah.
Let me
Right.
just finish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really because I truly do love what I do. I love the kids.
Yeah.
And it's fun watching when they, like, Carly, one of my students, she did the most fun graphic. I don't know if y'all know, but the Malvern Leopards are now 6-0.
Yeah. Heard that.
And
yeah.
so she did from Mean Girls, the burn book.
Oh,
She
yeah,
did a
yeah.
really cool graphic of all the people we've beat and the
Right.
scores, and
Oh,
it was
that's
just so
cute.
cool. And then our kids, like Henry had my own son. He did they have a. Our motto is passion, pride, excellence, and they did some footage at a football game, and
Yeah.
he's got the voiceover of passion,
Oh
pride.
yeah. That's
Oh,
awesome.
That's
So
awesome.
it's just really fun to watch them do things and learn.
So
and-
with who do y'all have this week? I guess what I'm trying to get to. Who do you
Junior high plays Bauxite at home,
Yeah.
and then senior high will go to Bauxite.
Okay.
And so we will broadcast Thursday night.
Right.
Bridget will run upstairs because I take photos on the sideline because
Gotcha.
Henry plays.
Right.
So we kind of tag team. And then on Friday nights, we're both in the press box for the most part.
All right.
think
Okay.
it
Well,
is.
good deal. Well, we appreciate y'all letting us come out again.
We're
Next
loving
time,
it, Malvern.
hey, eventually we're gonna work into our own parking spot.
I know.
I know we
Nothing
have
wrong-
first come, first serve parking, which
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah.
No, they tell you that on the first day of work. No
Uh-huh.
teacher can get butthurt about
Yeah.
somebody taking
That's
their spot
awesome.
because there's no spot.
I don't
That's
care what
awesome.
they say. There's always going to be a teacher that gets butthurt over parking. You know what I'm saying?
They better get
Always.
there. That means they better get there early if
Yeah.
they want that spot.
Hey, trust me, I've parked in enough of them just visiting. They're like, I heard you're the person in my spot. I'm like, sorry. But yeah. Anyway, well, thank you so much for having us out here, and good luck with the program. As always, if we can help do anything, we'd love to come do whatever we can, and keep letting you shine.
That's
you know,
right.
for
Thank
sure.
you. Thank
Yes.
you. Well, if
Love
y'all
it.
don't have to run off when we shut this down, the kids may have some questions for y'all.
Absolutely.
If you want to
Sounds
do a
good.
little Q&A.
Sure,
Yeah, we can
absolutely.
totally
We're
do
good with that.
Okay.
So
All right.
we'll wrap up this edition of Spilling the Tea in Studio D, the road version.
it.
Again, we're at Malvern again, and I'm very proud that they let us come out here.
Mm-hmm.
So until next time, this is Darren Beckwith and the Math Nerd. Well, that's probably the best.
Athlete.
That's
Athlete.
that's probably the best thing
Candace
I've called
Bennett.
in a long time.
Yeah, that might be the
That's
nicest
almost a
thing
compliment.
ever.
I better
Yeah.
knock that
I'll
off.
take it. I'll take it as a
Okay.
compliment.
Until next time, thank y'all.
Thank you.